Hello, I'm Carol Willcoxson Wootton. Jimmy was my wonderful brother. I would have done anything for him, and he would and often did any and everything for me. I loved him more than words can say, and with his tragic and sudden death, I bear, as do so many of us here today, a depth of pain and sadness that is unimaginable. Our family is forever grateful for your support, prayers, and the sharing of your precious memories of Jim. He loved every one of you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for loving and caring about this sweet man. There are so many words that describe my baby brother. Kind, sweet, loving, dedicated, giving, and funny, smart, responsible, honest, loyal. The list goes on and on, but one word in particular seems to best capture his essence, and that word is joyful. Jim was full of joy, and his joy was infectious. Being around Jimmy would invariably result in you too being filled with the joyous enthusiasm he had for life. He felt our joys as if they were his own. Jimmy's joyfulness was embodied in his big, beaming, ever-present smile. When we close our eyes to imagine him, what do we see? We see his big, joyous smile. This is our Jimmy. James Scott Willcoxson came into the world on July 4th, 1956. We were living in Chula Vista at the time, in a house our dad had built. When Daddy came home from the hospital that evening, he enthusiastically told my brother Bobby and me. John was only 16 months old and sound asleep. He said that we had a brand new firecracker of a baby brother. I can still remember that moment as if it was yesterday. Bobby and I were in our little jammies. We were sitting on the hearth of the Firestone fireplace in the living room. We were happy to have a new baby brother, but little did we know the joy of this little firecracker would bring to our family and to all those fortunate enough to know him. In 1963, our family moved to Blue Lake Drive in San Carlos. Jimmy, along with his brother Johnny, grew up in this wonderful and what might be described as idyllic neighborhood. They both attended Weinberg Elementary, Pershing Junior High, Patrick Henry High School. They were 1 year apart. The kids all played in the streets, and hung out at each other's home and formed friendships that have lasted a lifetime. It was rare in those days to sit down to a meal at our house that didn't include some of the neighborhood kids. Mom was legendary for her great cooking, and the kids ate it all up. No leftovers ever in this house. Jimmy loved school, was smart, got good grades, and would never miss a day of school no matter what. His teachers loved him, and he more often than not was the teacher's pet. How could he not be with that big smile and his ever eagerness to help? He played Little League with his brother John and all the neighborhood kids. Coaches loved him and called him Smiley. He spent hours fishing at Lake Murray trying to catch the biggest bass in the lake. He went backpacking several times in the Sierra with his buddies, Tony, Carl, and Ron. Take a look at some of the photos in the lobby. And here, I just love this one. I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, it's a newfound one for me. And Jimmy could have had a modeling career for Outdoor Magazine, as the photos show him, hamming it up on the trail. So take a look out there if you haven't already. There's just some wonderful photos of him, as he always was. He liked to ham it up. And thank you, Tony, for sharing these photos. They mean the world to me and my family. Jimmy's formative years were lived well and lived fully. By the time Jimmy had graduated from high school and went out into the world to make his mark, his fun-loving, winning personality and ability to make friends with everyone was in full swing. The tall and handsome guy touched many people in his positive, uplifting way, and he would continue to be everyone's friend, a characteristic that was present throughout his life. His dear friends, Rich and Anna Casillo, have provided a great story that I'd like to share. Anna writes, when Rich and I were married in 1988, Jim was one of our groomsmen. I hired an acquaintance to be our videographer who was taking photography courses, but was not a professional wedding photographer. Just like all who met him, Neil, the videographer, took an instant liking to Jim and proceeded to hang out and follow Jim around at the wedding reception, including at one point even taking him into the men's bathroom as Jim showed him around the entire facilities. When Anna and Rich received the final version of their wedding and reception video, we could not help but laugh, as it seemed rather than being a tape of Rich and Anna's wedding day. There was so much footage of Jim, it could have been named A Day in the Life of Jim Willcoxson at the wedding of Rich and Anna this year. In his early 20s, Jimmy married Brenda, and with this union, the apple of his eye was born, Kobe Scott Willcoxson. Kobe was Jimmy's little buddy, became his world. Jim gave his all to Kobe, sparing nothing and always giving his special unconditional love. They attended sporting events, Padres, Chargers, Storm, minor league baseball in Lake Elsinore, spent time just hanging out, talking about all things that interest young kids. Usually that meant sports of some sort. That was Jimmy's passion. He proudly coached Kobe in Little League. Coaching, like so many other activities, was a natural for Jim. He loved it, was good at it. He would quickly bond with the team and parents, and even the most difficult parents were easily won over. He was fair, encouraging, and fun. Kobe now has his family of his own. Wife Jessica, 4 great boys, Justice, Tristan, Kyle, and Maddie, and a new baby girl, Kinsley. As you can imagine, Jim's unconditional love, zest for life, and giving nature surrounded each of them. Kobe and family meant the world to Jimmy. Years went by and a new chapter opened up in Jimmy's life, one that involved a new marriage and an expanded family. With this marriage to Susan came a bonus. He had 2 new stepchildren, Christina, Marie, and Sean, and a house full of dogs. Jim loved those kids as his own. He coached them in Little League and softball, nurtured them, guided them, took them along with Kobe on family outings that was packed full of fun. As Jimmy got older, his brother Bobby and him became best friends. They shared a career in the moving industry and a love of sports and a love of family. They talked frequently and often, even though there were miles and several states separating them. Jimmy was a good worker, having our parents' strong work ethic. He was responsible, ethical, honest, and hardworking. Like with everything he did, work was always infused with his special bit of joy. He always gave it his all, no half measures for him. He had integrity and was a natural salesman. We joked that he could sell snow to an Eskimo, but that snow had to be good, none of that yellow stuff. There were 2 main careers in Jimmy's life. The first was managing our parents' 7-Eleven store on Palm and Living Grove. Many customers went to the store just to visit with Jim, to talk sports, and to feel uplifted. The second career was in the moving industry and started when our mother worked as a secretary and manager for several moving and storage firms. She got Jimmy moving jobs when he was right out of high school. He later worked again for Atlas Transfer and Storage as a salesman. This was a perfect job for Jim. His outgoing, sunny disposition and ability to forge bonds with others led to much success and lasting friendships. When he married his soulmate, Carol, he moved to Fresno, started working for Colonial Van and Storage, and again enjoyed his job immensely. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't take time to tell you about Jimmy's first love, that being the love for his mother. This love was deep and never-ending. When Jimmy came home, her baby boy always had a small gift for her, a prize. Usually these gifts weren't of great monetary value, but almost always something that Mom wanted or would treasure, be it a piece of her favorite candy, a donut, a new kitchen gadget, or a pen. With the prize was always a few words that would make Mom laugh and make her feel on top of the world. He also enjoyed teasing Mom, and she loved it. Mom can't climb the stairs by herself now, so one of us has to take her upstairs, following behind to make sure she keeps her balance and doesn't fall. Always the competitor, and always trying to make life fun, Jimmy would say to Mom as she started up the stairs, "Okay, Mom, let's race. See if you can beat your time. Now get ready. Ready, set, go. Go, Mom, go." And Mom would laugh and say, "Oh, Jimmy," and continue up the stairs in her normal, slow, steady pace, but with a big smile on her face. These are the small things that brought joy to Mom. The big stuff, love, devotion, care, and consideration, was always there, was the base, was our formation. For Jimmy, this was always a given. I want all of you to take comfort in knowing that the last few years were some of the happiest, if not the happiest years in Jimmy's life. He had found the one in Carol Holiday, married her, and was working in a job that fit him to a T. He loved living in Fresno, loved with all his heart his Carol, as he called her. This kind, gentle, joyful man continued to live life to its fullest, even up to the moment of his death. There was no confrontation, just a swift and sudden, and he died instantly in the process of making his beloved wife her favorite dish, jalapeno poppers. Our hole in our heart is huge, but we are also very happy that Jimmy found a slice of happiness some people never experience in a lifetime. Jimmy, you will live on inside us. Your goodness will be our light. Your strength will help us heal. We love you and miss you so very, very much. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Just a minute. Before I step down, I want to thank my brothers, Bobby and Johnny, along with my Ray and Johnny's Glory, for all their support, help, and love. We have leaned on each other and has made us stronger and even closer, if that's even possible. Love each of you so much.